Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome back to the show. Our membership program is made possible in part by liberalbias.com. Some statistics suggest the economy is improving in spite of having a liberal president, but the statistics, of course, have a liberal bias. Find out more at liberalbias.com. Today's new member of the day is Thomas Huber. Thomas, thank you for your membership, but also, Lewis, thanks to Thomas for his contribution to our Indiegogo fundraiser. Both are very, very much appreciated.
Yes, they are.
He's making it happen on all fronts.
That's it's really the way to go.
It is.
Yeah.
Conservatives need guns to protect themselves from tyranny. The tyranny that is more likely if you have a really big military, which those same conservatives want. Right, Lewis? I've talked a lot about kind of the inherent counterproductivity, for lack of a better term, or hypocrisy in a lot of conservative policy. So a really common example, and actually one which I wrote about in this month's newspaper column, is conservatives want less abortions, but they also want policy that increases the number of unintended pregnancies, which leads to more abortions. Fine. I think we have a good grasp of that one.
Yes.
One that hasn't been discussed as much when talking about gun control and these accusations that we need rifles to protect ourselves from government tyranny is that conservatives say armed citizens are essential to protect yourself from government tyranny. However, they also support huge and constantly expanding government and military spending. How does that work, right? I mean, the level at which you need to defend yourself from tyranny, hypothetically, goes up more and more the more you feed into the military. You need more and more weapons to protect yourself from the bigger and bigger military that you are creating.
Right.
Do you think conservatives, number one, are aware of this? And number two, do you think they care?
I don't think they care. I think that they think that in the post 9/11 world, national security is everything, and you have to be on top of that.
And part of that is also being ready to defend yourself in case that really great military is used by the government to turn against you.
Right.
Natan, what do you think?
Maybe they assumed that if the government turned tyrannical and we had to rebel against them, that the military would be on our side.
Right. That's
but
always the
there's no
way it
evidence for
happens
that.
when this happens around the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, what normally happens around the world is the military is the one that takes over the government.
Exactly.
But certainly when they do that, they're not serving the people.
There's an interesting article about this in The Atlantic, and it says, and I'll just read from it, consider Marco Rubio. The senator just threatened to filibuster any gun control legislation because the Second Amendment speaks to history's lesson that government cannot be in all places at all times, and history's warning about the oppression of a government that tries. But curiously, Rubio also strongly supports beefing up government power by creating a vast military establishment. In 2012, he described defense cuts as catastrophic because history has proven that the stronger the U.S. military is, the more peaceful the world becomes. Interesting. Wait a second. Won't American military might mean that a government that's in more places at more times might actually have more of an opportunity to become tyrannical? Doesn't matter to Marco Rubio.
No.
Just doesn't care or doesn't realize.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's because they truly believe that that we could get invaded at any time, or this is just something they run on because they know that the vast majority of their constituents are all pro-military.
The article goes on to say, it's almost like George Washington grasping his musket as a defense of liberty while also looking for funding for the British Redcoats.
Nicely put.
This goes in the direction of a false flag type of thing, right? Causing a problem that you have an interest in then coming up with a very specific solution to. This could be, we could see this as there may be situations, hard to believe, where the for-profit pharmaceutical industry is interested in finding ongoing treatments for something rather than a cure, so that then they can provide a solution which is profitable to them.
Right.
In this case, maybe the profit is by making the government and military bigger, conservatives then have a better case to make that we need all those guns, which of course also happens to be exactly what arms manufacturers would want too.
Yes, and we know that of course, the military-industrial complex has a huge influence on the political scene.